obviously this is a guy you do pretty well. I think it was over president today, but to have a first set like that where everything's on serve, second set, everything's on serve. Obviously it's a familiar tempo to you, but talk me through the rhythm of a match like that. What allowed you to finally grab that break in set number 3?
Honestly, just looking for any opportunity. I mean, he was serving really well. It felt like I wasn't really getting looks on first, wasn't getting looks on second. But just things just kind of happen. You lean right on one first serve return. You make good contact on a second. Now you're kind of applying a little bit of scoreboard pressure that hasn't really happened for the match. So I think scoreboard pressure, just being able to just make that return on break point, throwing it in the court, and kind of trying to recover as quick as I can, show that I was ready to track down the ball, force the error, and I was able to get that break. Really missed that forehand to get the break, but yeah, it's one of those matches where you got to kind of just try to focus on what's happening when you're already looking for it. You're super frustrated when you're not getting any type of look on your opponent's serve.
That's a fun number for you. 15 service games, 16 points lost on the serve. I'm no mathematician, but I think it's a pretty good day at the office. And we saw after the match, there was everyone in the crowd wanted to speak with you, get a photo with you. And look, that's not a common thing at an ATP challenge. To have that happen here, first time playing the event, what does that mean to you, and what does that say about this challenge event?
It means a lot. Anytime playing in the States and being able to come around and see young juniors who are striving to play these sports one day, to see tennis fans who've been fans of tennis for 30, 40 years, being able to come out and just watch and take in some of the tennis here, it means a lot. We don't get that reception very often on tour. It doesn't matter if it's tour event, challengers, but to have such a warm atmosphere, good crowd today, and showing a lot of support. For me, it's pretty cool, especially being first time here. It's left a really good impression so far, so hopefully I can stick around for a little bit.
I love to hear that. We'd love to have you. My last 2 questions for you, I promise. You've done a lot of commentary of late, and certainly everyone in the tennis world has enjoyed it, my friend, so we appreciate that perspective. How does watching the match, I know you've talked about this before, but watching from that perspective help you now when you go out on court? Does it help you having those experiences?
I think it just depends on what type of headspace you're in, because if you're very high on confidence, you're winning a lot of matches, it's very easy to kind of remove the emotion and be objective and kind of point out, what am I saying? How's the match going? Am I playing poorly? Is my opponent playing well? You think more rationally, I think, because of whatever headspace you're in, and doing commentating allows for you to kind of have a bird's eye view. When things aren't going well, everything seems like the guy's playing well and you're playing terrible. So it depends on kind of the time of year, the kind of form I'm in, but certainly I think overall, watching full matches and having to see the momentum swings, I think, are the biggest things. There were so many matches I've had to call in which, say, a higher ranked player may be playing someone who's lower ranked, who's playing ridiculous tennis for a set and a half, and then something happens, you get one break in the second, and then you can just kind of roll from there on. So just kind of keeping that in the back of my mind of saying, tons of players have dealt with, players coming out playing really well. You just have to kind of keep a level head, try to focus on what you can control, and then just allow the rest to take care of yourself. And just believe you're going to get a look. I think that's kind of the major thing, is just knowing that I've watched enough matches, I've called enough matches to know there's always an opportunity. You're always going to get a look. It's just about what you do with it.
Well, my last question is my 60 minutes question of the week. I want to ask all the players here. We talk a lot about growing the game, and I apologize for putting you on the spot with a question like this, but what's one thing you think we in the media could do better to help grow this game? What's one thing you think that players could be doing better to help grow this game as well?
From a player standpoint, I think they go hand in hand, honestly. I think the media has to do a far better job of painting full context when they're talking about players, painting full context of whether it's a match, whether it's a year, a shot that's missed, kind of explaining why the shot was missed and not just saying, you can't miss that. I think, especially being in it last year with the Open, having to ask questions for the first time, understanding that you got to put some work into the questions you ask, because I think players, especially for me, seeing it on both sides, like I know how stressed I was at the Open doing pre and post match questions, and I also see what it's like when I'm watching press conference, and it feels like whoever's covering it puts no thought into it. They ask the same basic questions, kind of textbook, cookie cutter, instead of like showing that you watched the match, pick out certain moments in the match, and I think players, on the flip side of that, players will naturally be a little bit more endearing to media. And I think the more players get, in a way, media is a bit of a responsibility, but the more players get more excited about it, I think engaging more on social media is going to be huge. So I think that's where the majority of people my age and younger consuming a lot of our content is on social media. So the media outlets, like you guys at Crack Rackets, do a great job of kind of pushing out social media content and allowing the players to feel like it's you know, it's a safe place. It's you can be critical but not be disrespectful. And I think the overarching thing for what the media can do better is just you know, put a little bit of time in when you are engaging with the players. Show the players that you actually care, that you're excited to have them, instead of just kind of rolling through with the same. You lost the first set, you know, what happened? It's like, you tell me what happened. Like, you watched it, I can give you my, you know, so let's have more of a better relationship, I think, from athletes and media. I think are the biggest things, and like I said, pushing a lot of social media content.
Well, I swear I wasn't fishing for a compliment, but I appreciate it, my friend, and I always appreciate the opportunity to have you in this space. Congratulations. Good round two.
Thanks.